All right, guys, welcome to the no list, no risk, start now, 100% sure, 200% ROI money making method that we discovered with a little bit of experimentation here. Okay, now this is something that you can 100% can start doing literally right now, today. There's different ways to do it, different assets and avenues to utilize. I'm going to show you the exact ones that we did, and then we'll talk about some alternatives depending on where you are in the world, okay? But once again, this is a method that we've utilized. We've recently concluded an experiment that you can make money, generate instant ROI with very little starting capital, like I said, $25 to $30, and start generating ROI with no list, no affiliates, no web design or websites, no paid ads, almost no expense, and almost no time commitment, okay? So let's dive into this. I'm going to tell you really quickly what the method is. I'm going to get that out of the way really fast, and then we'll go into some other details. Let me pull up my little to-do list here on my phone. Let's see, I wrote down some talking points just to make sure I don't miss anything. Right here. Okay, so first off, you go to, if you're in the U.S., actually if you're worldwide, maybe, but definitely if you're in the U.S., you go to tmart.com, okay? Tmart.com is basically a drop shipping service, but it's also a front-facing marketplace, kind of like Amazon.com, but it specializes in cheap goods from China, okay? Go to tmart.com, and the experiment that we did was using violins. You can try this with other products, that's fine, but we used violins. And I don't usually tell people this because I want to corner this market and I don't want a lot of competition, okay? So count yourself lucky that I'm letting you in on this. But this is a hot market no matter where you are in the world. And basically you go into violins, you find yourself a $30-ish violin. It's up to you if you want to get something a little more high-end or expensive, but just a basic entry-level beginner violin. This is the one that I have always used right here. Okay, right now it's $34.99, but these are constantly fluctuating, so sometimes it's $28, sometimes it's $35, as you can see here. You come over here, and you can either, if you have a drop shipping account with tmart.com, you can go ahead and open that and place your orders through that, I guess, but it doesn't really matter how you do it. Just go ahead and make the order, and in this case, this one ships from the U.S. warehouse, and I think most of the violins do ship from the United States warehouses, okay? But basically, you ship this to yourself. After you've ordered it, you go ahead and you go on to Craigslist, okay? You go to Craigslist, open up a listing, and say that you have a brand new, never opened, full size, if you go with a full size violin, so 4x4 means full size in violin speak, full size beginner violin. Okay, with case, with bow, with rosin, tell them that you got all the accessories and stuff in there. And you're going to sell it for, in our case, we did around $90 each time, okay? $90 on Craigslist. People will, within a day, contact you about this violin. And you will be making sales if you continue replicating this, okay? So you can produce 200% ROI, approximately, depending on how much you charge and how much you bought it for. But you can basically buy the violin for usually around $30 and sell it for around $90, okay? And we'll get into some other considerations in a moment, but that's basically what we did. And like I said, this isn't a fluke that we did once. We did it again and again, and we confirmed that you can replicate it over and over again, and you can theoretically do this with any product. Okay, and I know it sounds kind of, facepalm simple, maybe too good to be true, but this is something you can do with very minimal time commitment to generate revenue. Now, I want to talk about a few things, okay? And this is something I feel deeply about. I'm a traditional Catholic. I'm sort of a Thomist, so I believe in the Thomistic concept of just price. So don't go crazy with this and start charging an unjust or unethical, what's the word, arbitrage price for this, okay? 200% ROI is more than enough. You can justify that pretty easily by the fact that you are the person who found and sourced these violins and are able to equip people with violins for a very, very low price. $90 is very cheap for a violin. Be honest, okay, about the quality of the violin. Don't go saying that it's a 5-star super high quality violin. Just call it a beginner violin. okay, called an inexpensive beginner violin. This is what we did in our Craigslist ads. We were very upfront. We said, hey, we've got our hands on some inexpensive beginner level violins. They're perfectly fine violins. They work great, and they're perfect for beginners. And they are. I actually have an El Cheapo Chinese-made violin just like this. I've been using it since 2013, and it does work just fine. At some point in the last few years, I upgraded the strings to make them sound a little bit better. But for a beginner, this is a perfectly fine violin. Okay? But be honest that it's a beginner level, entry level violin. Okay? Don't lie about any of the details or about the quality. Let me just go through my list here, and we'll talk about some other things that might increase sales in a moment. But really quick, let's talk about Tmart alternatives. Okay, you could, if you wanted to, if you're in a country where Tmart is not an option, just go straight to AliExpress or Alibaba. AliExpress is sort of the low order quantity version of Alibaba.com. And so you can just order these. The problem is you have to wait a little while if they're coming from China, but that's not a big deal because you're not actually drop shipping these to people. You're selling them in your local area to local people on Craigslist. Okay? So you're selling them in person, so it doesn't really matter when you have them in stock. You sell them when you have them in stock. So if you go with AliExpress, which you can do, I think, anywhere in the world, you wait a couple weeks, I guess, for your violins to show up, and then you turn them around and start flipping them, and handle your inventory and your inflow of inventory however you see fit. Let's move on to Craigslist alternatives. Honestly, I've never messed with Craigslist alternatives in other countries. I want to say Craigslist has listings or versions of its website for other countries. You guys who are outside the United States know that better than I do. But there's obviously plenty of, what are those called? Classified ads. There are classified ad networks. There's classified ad groups on Facebook. Wherever you live, there is a classified group or a for sale group on Facebook. So it doesn't have to be Craigslist per se, but I just wanted to tell you up front exactly the method we were using. We use Tmart and Craigslist. That's how we do this, and we replicate it, and it works every single time. But let's see here. Oh yeah, so here's some other ideas. We put our feelers out once with some electronics, and I want to say we did 2 electronic gizmos. One of them was definitely a Bluetooth speaker that we went to Tmart or AliExpress. We got the stock photo of it, and we made a listing for it on Craigslist, and we did it with another electronic gizmo of some sort. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, the method that we used was to put out our feelers, put out that Craigslist ad, and see how many emails we got with people saying, hey, can I buy that off you? Okay. In the case of the Bluetooth speaker, we got a few, but the Bluetooth speaker was pretty inexpensive to begin with, and I wasn't perfectly certain that we had enough to indicate a large amount of interest. So we haven't actually pursued that any further, but that's an option that you can look into instead of actually experimenting with another product. Outside of the music niche, you can actually make a listing for those other products and see how much interest, see how much demand there is on those classified sites like Craigslist. Let's see here. Oh yeah, combine with accessories. We did this. So for really cheap, right here on Tmart or on AliExpress, you can get things like the digital tuners that you attach to your violin or set somewhere near your violin, and while you're playing it, it'll show on a digital screen what note it's at, so you can tune your violin with a digital tuner. You can get those for like $3. Okay, so you just package stuff into it to make it a more attractive offer. So consider getting smaller accessories, relevant accessories. Spare strings would be another example of this, that are very inexpensive for you, but they add significant real value and perceived value to the offer that you're putting there on Craigslist or whatever classified ad that you use. And this is just an idea. We have not done this, so take this with a grain of salt. But I was thinking it might be cool, since we are digital marketers, to combine whatever the physical offer is with a digital offer. Okay, so maybe if you're selling a guitar, you go and see if you can find a PLR guitar lesson or video, or go pay a guy on Fiverr $10 to make an intro to guitar course, a 10-minute long video course. And go on myecovermaker.com and make some e-covers and put that in the listing and say, hey, not only are you going to get this guitar, not only are you going to get this spare digital tuner, or whatever other accessories, but you're also going to get a guitar course, And that sounds cheesy. I don't know if that would work. Like I said, we haven't tried that, but it's just an idea, something you might as well leverage since we are in the internet marketing space. So that is pretty much it, guys. And like I said, some of you guys are going to think this is a cool idea. Some of you might scoff at it because it involves a little bit of work, manual work of buying a product and then going on Craigslist and posting. I hope you don't scoff at it because it's 100% certain to work. We have confirmed that. So, I guess the worst case scenario is if there's less of a demand. I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, or outside of Omaha, Nebraska, I should say. So it's not like there's a ton of violin demand out here. We don't have like a local major symphony or orchestra or something like that. But there's always people inside of these hobbies like violin all over the place. And so if there's ever evidence of the fact that of that particular fact, it's the fact that I'm actually making money doing this in Nebraska of all places, and I never have to wait more than 24 hours before people start inquiring about these violins. So never assume that a product is not going to be sought after in your area, especially if you're getting an inexpensive version of a product that's usually expected to be expensive. If you're getting an inexpensive version of a product that's usually expected to be very expensive, like a violin, like a musical instrument, okay? Like, I don't know, a surfboard or something like that. So I would actually try to replicate this exact one. Since I've already confirmed that it works, I would do this. I would go out, spend $35 on this exact violin right here from T-Mart, okay? Put a Craigslist listing out there, or if you don't want to spend the money, just put the listing out there and use the stock images. I will say that you get better responses. Well, I guess I haven't split tested this, so I'm not going to say it since I haven't split tested it. But I'm willing to bet $100 that we got better responses because we actually had photos of it on our couch instead of stock images. Because stock images maybe give people the impression that it might be a scam. So, but if you want to, just for teasers or for funsies, use the stock images and see if there's any interest for an inexpensive violin at a price of around $90 in your area. See if it works. And if there is interest, don't sit around. Buy them and sell them for profit and start making some money on the side. There's no reason not to be doing this. This is just another stream of extra income, okay? So I apologize for the monologue. I know I went on rambling for a while. This is it, guys. Please, please, please prove to me that you are action takers and send me an email once you've actually at least went out and made a demo or an experimental listing on Craigslist or your local classified ad system. And let me know that this is working for you guys. Okay, so I hope you appreciated this video. I'm going to ask you kindly, you're not under any obligation, but I'm going to ask you kindly not to share this idea with too many people. I don't want this to explode. It's kind of an untapped niche at the moment as far as I can tell. I don't see anybody else doing this. So try to keep this to yourself. But let me know how it goes, and thank you guys for either paying for this if you bought this as a product or for grabbing something through our affiliate link if you pick this up as a bonus. Okay, so appreciate you guys. Take care. Talk to you soon.